PR Connections Radio presents. This podcast is brought to you by LifeWave. Ready to elevate your wellness game? Meet X39 from LifeWave.com. This game-changing patch uses phototherapy to stimulate your skin, enhancing strength and stamina by channeling your body's innate energy. Simply apply it to harness infrared heat, naturally boosting your vitality. Want to learn more? Visit www.lifewave.com/VernD and step into a healthier, more active lifestyle today.
Okay, welcome to JP's Teachers Lounge, Season 1, Episode 16. Today I'm going to be talking about, the title is Lessons from the AP Essay Reading. I thought it would be timely or topical since it's something that I just finished. Actually, I'm currently still doing. And I think it's a good reflection. It actually allowed me to stimulate some thoughts and ideas that I have. The whole idea of this is to have a discussion and to improve education, not just classroom education, but education all over, learning, being lifelong learners, and then I also want to link it to the primaries that just occurred. The Nevada primary. Other states are having their primaries. Some I think still had it a while back. Some I think still need. Some are still in the future. But there's a reason for it, because even though this show is not really about politics, it does, when it comes to education and politics do have kind of a link. And again, the whole idea is to share ideas, share some thoughts, share opinions. It's okay to disagree, but then let's figure out, okay, what do you see? What does this person see? We can come together and solve some problems. So in the AP essay reading, there's some good writing, by the way, and these are students from all over the nation. Good writing. Okay. One thing I did notice is lack of proofreading. Now, everyone makes mistakes. I make mistakes in writing, and when I was in high school, I was not a very good writer. I did not write good essays. I was not very good. However, as I was reading many essays, I've noticed that there were words missing. So I'm reading a sentence and then there's like one or two words missing. Sometimes it could be something like an article, a, an, or the, but nevertheless, I had to read it twice. Now, of course, people make mistakes, but then it is a reflection of apathy, and sometimes it's just, they forget, make mistakes, but you need to you need to proofread. So again, it's a reflection of apathy, like I don't care, and also kind of a forfeiting. And what I mean by that is, like in team sports, when you forfeit, you give up, you surrender, we forfeit. So a lot of it is it's the whole idea of thinking that AI or somebody will correct my writing and someone will think for me. Many times in class, when we read as a class, there could be a word that comes up and the student does not know how to pronounce it. Okay, I understand. It's challenging. If they make a mistake, that's okay. But many of them don't even want to. They don't even want to try. And they would say, like, let's say the word beneficial. And there's some students who struggle with that. And then they forget it, and then they just skip it. Well, if you can't understand a word, If you can't pronounce the word, you probably don't know the word. If you don't know the word, how would you know the context? So I think many students have are brought up to believe that it's okay, it's somehow it's acceptable to just give up or forfeit. And that's just so sad. Okay. That needs to change because and it needs to change because we have to instill in our students and everyone else really that it's okay to make mistakes. It's just try, figure it out. It's the process. It's the process of figuring it out. Okay. You learn something, but it's instant gratification, no delay of gratification. I want it now. If I don't know, I'll forget it. I don't want to have to think. Well, because our thinking will be done for us. That's dangerous. Okay, so it's a symptom of apathy, forfeiture, don't care, but yet they expect the rewards, and somehow they've been taught that it's okay. It's like, where's my reward? Well, you didn't earn it. Well, I don't need to earn it. Well, yes, you do. All right. So there's been our priorities in our society are really mixed up, and that needs to change. You have to demand excellence, not perfection, but doing your best, being excellent, being better. If you're on a sports team, okay, if you lose, all right, are you getting better? Are you improving? Are you working better as a team? Okay, did you make a better effort? That's the important thing. Now, how is it linked to the primary? Well, I'm going to speak about the Nevada primary in particular because that's the only one I've been watching. My partner or my colleague, former colleague and friend Jim Blocky, unfortunately did not win his candidacy. However, as I was doing some research, and I don't know if this is true. At least I don't know if it's updated. So if it is, again, I'll stand corrected. But I looked up that there were 200 or roughly 300,000. Let's say 297,000 eligible voters in Nevada's District 1, Congressional District 1, which is a good portion of Las Vegas. Now, District 4 is part of, I think, Lake Las Vegas and some other areas. But District 1, 297,000. And again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I looked it up. I kind of figured this out because about 70,000 voted, which was around 23%. Now, the reason what I heard is that Dina Titus got 33,000 votes, and Carrie Buck got 22,000, and then Jim Blocky, I think, got 3,000, and then there were a few others that were just around like 2,000-3,000, maybe a little bit higher. But those were, and that was for only one race, yes. But I'm just assuming that if when people go and vote, they voted for Dina Titus or Carrie Buck or even Jim Blocky or a few others. And with 33,000, 22,000, and then give or take some others, it was about 70,000. So that's 23% of the eligible voters. Now, I understand it's the primary, and I understand that. I mean, I'm guilty of it too. Most of the time, in fact, this might have been the first time I actually voted in the primary, and I'm 57 years old. Most of the time, I vote in the election, just the general election. And I changed my affiliation to Republican, even though I'm an independent or libertarian, and because you have to be either Republican or Democrat to vote in the primary, which is ridiculous because the fastest growing party is independent, which means no party. which is kind of ironic, but in a way it makes sense because people are just moving away. But anyways, now it's the apathy. It's the, well, I'll wait until I'm just going to wait for the World Series, or I'm just going to wait for the Super Bowl, the general election. Okay, I get that, and again, I was guilty of it too. But it's you don't it's again delaying that gratification. You have to, if you skip the primaries, but then you're not happy with the selection and the general election. Well, and if you think about that, and many others think about that, well, this is what we have. And then we have the same people getting voted in because they have the name recognition. Yes, they have the support, they have the power of support, but they have the name recognition. And then we complain about this person has been in there for 30, 40 years. We don't want no kings. Okay, yes, but when you have people that have been in a position of power for many years, that's not a public servant. That's turning into I won't say a king or a dictator, but it's if you're in power permanently or somewhat permanently, well then what do you call it? But the whole idea is that many people just bypass the primary. Well, I'll wait until the general election because I'll just see what happens. It's funny because when I hear people about I used to try multi-level marketing years ago and try this product or that product, and then you had people who would sit back and think, well, I'll believe it when I see it. I'll wait on the sidelines. I'll wait. Well, you think it's going to get any easier if you keep waiting to get into the game? It's going to get tougher. When I used to teach at behavior school, we had students who were expelled from schools and came there, and many of them, not all, but many of them had this attitude or this mindset that, well, this isn't a real school. They look around, well, easy work, because the standards were a little bit lower. We didn't want it to be, but it just kind of happened that way. When students would only show up 2 or 3 times a week, and many of them, their attitude was, well, first of all, they had to stay out of trouble. They had to do a lot of things, and then if they were scheduled to be there for a semester, usually it's at least a semester, or maybe even 2 semesters a whole year, and then when it came to the end of the semester, they would be eligible to be released and go back to a comprehensive high school, or even go back to their own high school, depending on certain situations. And then so they would have to earn getting back. But a lot of them were comfortable there. They liked it there because it was easy. But they had many of them had this attitude, well, once I get back to regular school, then I'm going to buckle up and I'm going to do well. Well, no, you got to do it right now. You got to do it here. You got to do it every day. I used to teach adult ed at the city jail during the same time, which I really enjoyed. And I had work inmates who, for the most part, were just they were trying to better their lives and everything, and they would try to when they were being released. If they know they were being released, then they wouldn't come to class because maybe they're excited or whatever. They didn't, but they didn't. They didn't want to put the effort. They would put the effort if it was like if they knew they were in there, or in there for a while. And again, I can't really blame them about that. but just the whole idea that they they thought, well, you know what, I'll once I get out, I'm going to go return to school. And some of them do. But the ones who didn't, while we were there as a captive audience, we did our best to have them get a GED, have them finish their degree, because we knew, at least for the most part, many of them would not follow through. Because it's, and I'm not saying it's all their fault, because once you get out, you have distractions, you have family, you got to get a job, you have all these distractions, and it's tough, because school is a long-term goal, whereas having to work, dealing with family, that's a short-term goal. But we knew that, so we did our best while they're there, just get it done as much as you can, because we knew. So another thing that I saw on that I'm seeing on the essays are, again, fragmented thoughts, fragments, little parts of things, where you had a sentence where, when I read the sentences, the students are trying to talk about two or three different things, and they're getting their ideas mixed up, their thoughts mixed up, and so they're combining things. And again, I think a lot of it goes back to social media, instant gratification. We're looking at videos where everything is just boom, 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 and there's just so many things coming at us that it's again, it's very fragmented. We talk, or we write the way we speak. For example, I can tell, 'cause I'm in Toastmasters, and I could tell that when I'm talking to another Toastmaster, I know I'm not going to get interrupted, at least for the most part. Other people, if I'm talking to them, they're interrupting me, and I think it's important when you're talking to someone to at least give a delivery where you know that you're okay. I'm going to sum up. I'm coming in for a landing, and once I start speaking, I only want to speak for maybe a minute or two, and then, okay, what do you have to say? But but when you have some people who you talk to people and they just keep talking, and you there's no opening, and then you get anxious, and then you're talking to somebody, and then you're thinking of an idea, and then you think you're going to forget about it, and so you're thinking about that, and you're not even listening. So, well, I don't know how we're going to solve that, but it's important to listen to people. It's important to speak with people, but many people do that because, again, their thoughts are so fragmented. And it's not intellectual thinking. It's distracted thinking. It's again, like the phone, when you're on your cell phone, and then there's things that are there in the background, and then you have to double click and to get things in the background. Well, our brains are like that. We have about 20 or 30 pages opening in our brain, and when we're talking to someone, we can't concentrate because there's so much stuff going on. We can't think clearly. And I noticed that many run-on sentences, and again, that's a reflection of the overthinking, or just the racing thoughts, and just the I guess the overwhelming stimulus, overstimulated. And that's what I've noticed. Now, in terms of the essay topics were very interesting. The essay topic was, there were four topics, or four literary pieces. One was a poem, and I think the other three were all articles. And the prompt was, identify a common theme in all four pieces. But actually, at least two. Identify a common theme in at least two of the four pieces, and provide a perspective that link your evidence with the commentary. And so, one was Robert Frost's poem, "The Road Not Taken," and then there was an article about a study done where many adults are millennials. Excuse me, thinking of Star Wars, Millennium Falcon. The millennials, or 23%, were thinking about. There was a survey. 23% of the millennials are thinking about quitting their job in the next 2 years, and there was one about Barbara Bush's farewell speech at Wellesley College from 1990, and there was another article about job. It was called job hopping. People taking one job or not sticking with one career, changing careers due to student loans. There was an average of the average student owes $57,000 in student loans by the time they leave college. And I thought it was interesting. Again, there was a lot of good writing, and to me, there were many good thesis statements where the students created a common theme from that. And one of them was, or actually the main thing that I got out of that I really liked was students are starting to question, or at least move away from the old model of going to college, going to there's no that one size fits all. Going to college, get a good job, and then stick with one job. Well, first of all, corporations are not loyal to people, so why should people be loyal to corporations? Plus, there's many other opportunities out there. People have one career, and then they want to change a career, or they want to get a promotion. They want to do something else where there's more money. So what I liked about it is, again, they're questioning it. The old model is done. And then I'm thinking, not just, we need to reevaluate our working models. We need to reevaluate things in society. There's some changes that need to be made, for sure. As a teacher, of course, I believe in lifelong learning. That doesn't necessarily mean that I think lifelong colleges, because colleges, excuse me, colleges have lived off the reputation of we have value, and let's face it, they don't. At least for many people, for the most part. Go to college, get a degree, and then you'll be set for life. No, it's not like that. Now, does that mean I'm against education? Of course not. Education comes in many forms. But why should colleges, and they charge so much money, colleges are part of the free market. But the old institution, the old guards, are still trying to feed it, because here's that college experience, watching college football games and having parties and fraternities and all that. Okay, well, that's great, but again, things are changing. You have online training, online classes that are cheaper, much more versatile. You can work remotely. People have children, so they worry about daycare. They can get trained online and work from home and have flexible schedules. That is a better reflection of society. Okay, Barbara Bush's speech about the students saying, hey, you're a human being first. Yes, if you're a doctor, lawyer, you have obligations, of course. You have professional obligations. You want to help people, great. But you're a human first. That, again, it's kind of good because we're getting to the point where we're almost going back to the basics. I remember my father, who was a liquor salesman. I asked him, how'd you get that job? He said, I got lucky. I knew some people. I got lucky. But my dad was a good salesperson. He knew how to talk to people. And although he had his own schedule, but he told me, man, he would hustle Monday and Tuesday, get work done. So like by the midweek, his schedule would open. It'd be more flexible, but he would, as he said, bust his hump for Monday and Tuesday. And then they would usually have to go to a meeting on every Friday. And then he'd be at my games. When I played football in high school, even though I wasn't very good, I was a bench warmer, but he didn't care. He was there for most of my games if he could. And because when he said I could have gotten another job where I made more money, but I'd probably have to be gone all the time or maybe travel. And I want to be able to see you guys grow up. So that was his priority. That worked for him. For some people, you work hard, you're gone all the time. Well, even if you enjoy it, if it's fulfilling, great, but you're never going to make up that time. Okay. Now, yes, because of technology, you can check into your son's football or soccer game or whatever, volleyball, whatever, or recital, plays, and like that. That's great, but nothing replaces being there. It's better than nothing, of course. So I'm glad that the students really connected to that, saying that, hey, people should have more flexibility. People should have more freedom, and all that stuff. I thought, wow, so there's hope. I'm really happy about that they picked up on that. So again, the common theme: live your life, have some flexibility. There's no more stigmas. If you're 40 years old and you want to go to college, you want to take some classes, great. You're 50 years old, 60, whatever, great. You want to start your own business, great. You want to be your own boss, great. You want to work at McDonald's when you're 50 at part-time because you enjoy it. You want to talk to people. My mom was a hostess at Olive Garden. That was her part-time job. She actually enjoyed it because she got to meet people. That was kind of her social outlet. It was kind of tough because financially she kind of needed it a little to work both jobs. It was kind of hard, but I can relate to that because I had a few jobs. I had 3 jobs at one time, so I get it. But it's just the whole idea that take away the stigmas. It's okay to change your careers. It's okay to not have to go to college. It's okay to try something new. It's okay to have your own venture, chart your own path. And again, the poem "Two Road Not Taken," I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. And many students connected to that. They applied. They understood that metaphor and applied to real life situations. Even though every interpretation is just as valid as the next person's interpretation. So I thought it was really great. So in conclusion, this is to me, this is true diversity. Okay. Skills, interests. Okay. Let's demand institutions to redirect to this new approach. And the new approach could be under kind of a funnel. The new approach could be many different approaches. Work split shifts, work remotely, be your own boss, take classes, travel, do what works for you, And when you go to a job, and I tell my students this, when you go to a job interview, whether it's a high school part-time job at McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, or whatever, you're interviewing them too. They're not just interviewing you. You need to interview them, because it has to work for both of you. It has to be beneficial for both of you. And just like with grading the essays, I can't grade 5 hours in a row. Some do. God bless. I need to do 1 hour, 1 or 2 hours, and then I need a break. But that's just me, because I need to focus. I need to concentrate, read these essays, and some are hard to read. But then sometimes I have to read it twice. But then I want to honor them by really focusing, and then I need to take a break. Some people need to do that. I've worked with teachers where teachers would work 14, 15 hours a day. I said, I can't do that, because tomorrow it's not going to race tomorrow. Tomorrow comes, if tomorrow comes, and if it doesn't, well, then you don't have to worry about it. But if tomorrow comes, there's going to be more work. So why kill yourself? Now, yes, you want to do the best job you can, but again, that's me. I would love to work 3-4 hours a day. Then I'm happy. Let me go play golf. Let me go take a walk, go have lunch with my friends, catch up on reading, go to the gym, whatever. That's just, again, we're all different. So I'm glad that these topics we're talking about that, and they connected that theme, that to chart your own path, and that includes many things, whether it's career, relationship, living. You want to buy a house and live there. Well, why? Well, some people don't want to live the same house over the years. They get an RV and travel, and they live wherever they are. There's people who live on cruise ships. Hey, that'd be fun. I mean, I think it might get tiring after a while, maybe a couple years, but that's kind of fun, kind of a neat thing. Why not? It's the whole idea is to be more inclusive in that sense. Like, there's no right or wrong. If you're happy, again, it's the pursuit of happiness. So those are my thoughts. Those are my reflections. And again, this is true diversity, I believe. And let's demand that things change. Just because things are the way they were doesn't mean it should stay like that. Okay. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in today. You could reach me at James Pasudich at timetoteach.com. So that's my name, at timetoteach.com. I'm on LinkedIn and Facebook, James Pasudich Communications, or I think LinkedIn is JP Communications. So reach out to me. Let's have a conversation. Anybody, especially educators, politicians, anybody interested in coming on as a guest, I'd be more than happy to hear what you have to say and have a great conversation. We could talk about education, music. I think everything connects with education, just like everything connects with many other things as well. So thanks everyone, and have a great evening.
This podcast is brought to you by LifeWave. Ready to elevate your wellness game? Meet X39 from LifeWave.com. This game-changing patch uses phototherapy to stimulate your skin, enhancing strength and stamina by channeling your body's innate energy. Simply apply it to harness infrared heat, naturally boosting your vitality. Want to learn more? Visit www.lifewave.com/VernD and step into a healthier, more active lifestyle today. PR Connections Radio thanks you for watching this podcast. Check out more episodes of this show and our others at prconnectionsradio.com.